Okay, so in our last lessons, we talked about shapes. We talked about lines and shapes. What makes a line a line? What makes a shape a shape? We created them. We blended them. We colored them. Okay. We also took a tour around CorelDRAW and we have seen where everything is located. Okay. We've also tried to customize our workspace to suit our needs. And today we are going to be adding text into the mix. We've learned about shapes, but without text, usually most designs usually carry text, except you are doing an artwork. Okay, if not, you usually have text accompanied with design. It's an essential part of design, and we are going to be learning about it on CorelDRAW. Okay, so text on CorelDRAW is divided into two parts, divided into two kinds. We have the artistic text and we have the paragraph text. Okay, to create an artistic text, it's simple. You just come and you select your pick tool, select your text tool, sorry, select your text tool and you type. Okay, so we are going to be typing artistic text. Hold down shift if you want capital letters. Um, artistic text. Okay, that is it. I did control space bar to exit to stop to go back to pick two. Okay. Um, so this is an artistic text, does not have borders around it. Okay. And then what do we do with an artistic text? Um, we can resize it. To resize, always understand that you have to drag the corners, drag it from the corners to resize. In so doing, you are keeping the proportion, the shape, the original proportion of the text. Okay, that is how you resize an artistic text. But if you start stretching it from the sides, start stretching it from the sides, you are distorting it. See, the font size is not even increasing. You are distorting it. Okay, this is a distortion. Now we use distortion when we are trying to create word marks, but that is far ahead of us right now. Okay, so why it is even here is because you can do it on some projects, but most of the time, if you want to if you want to increase the size of your text, to expand um just increase the size, if you want to resize it, you always have to drag by the corners. Now if you do this, notice that the shape, the form of the text is lost. Okay, so you have to do Ctrl Z to get back. This is the original form of the text. This is the original form, the original proportion. The text in its original proportion is this. Okay, so um, always drag by the corners. Always drag from the corners when you want to resize. Now to rotate is usually the same thing with the shapes that we talked about last time. Okay, so you just if the text is not selected before, you click and then you click again. Remember, you click and you click again. I did not say you double click, because if you double click, you get a different result. If you double click, you will be editing the text. Okay, so if editing the text is not what, sorry, need something. Okay, if editing the text is not what you are after, then um you click, sorry, you click and then you click again. Okay, so that you get this rotate option. Again, just like we had it with the shapes, you can move the center, to a given point so that it will rotate along that point. Do you understand? And you can move the center back to the original center you get, so that you can rotate around that point. Okay, so wherever that point is, that's where it will rotate. Also, too, you can always enter a value here and it will rotate according to that value. Do you understand? So for the sake of this tutorial, we're going to bring it back to 0 degrees. Okay. You can also change the font of an artistic text. So just select the text, click it once, and then I'm just going to keep it this way. Okay, keep it this way. Let me use my hand to remember the hand to keep it this way. Okay. Um, so artistic text is selected. We can change the font by just clicking on this drop down. You find this drop down on your properties bar. Okay. So when you click on this, you see different options. I have a lot of um typefaces here. So we are not going to go through all my typefaces just to show you that you can change fonts. We are just going to pick one from my recently used um typeface. So I'll just pick this one. All right. Then let me show us how paragraph text is, how paragraph text works. I've shown us how artistic text works. Let me show you how paragraph text works. Okay. So for paragraph text, you come again and select your text tool. Remember, for artistic text, you just clicked and typed. But for paragraph text, while the text tool is selected, you draw a rectangle, and then there you have it. You have your text box. Now let's just paste a dummy text. Copy and paste the dummy text into it. Okay. So make sure a cursor is blinking. See that blinking cursor? Yeah, that is sign that you can now paste. So when you paste, you have a paragraph inside. This is the paragraph text. Okay. So this is a paragraph text. This is an artistic text. Paragraph text, artistic text. Great. So now I've created an artistic text. Uh, you notice that a paragraph text has boundaries, a has a boundary around it, while an artistic text does not have that. Okay, and with this boundary, if you stretch the shape of the rectangle, the text just automatically change shape to and fill up the space that you are creating by your right. Okay, yeah, it's the so we call this phenomenon text wrapping. Text wrapping. Text is wrapping according to the shape of the according to the shape. Okay, according to the dimensions of the shape. Okay, so that is it. Um, and you can also resize. Yeah, you can resize. You can resize by coming here and changing the size of everything. Okay, that's 16. My pixel is selected, by the way. I'm no longer on text tool. So with pixel selected, I can change the font size of everything inside that box. Okay. So let me show you something. So if I do keep this at 24, my text box, the paragraph text, the text box is red. Okay, it's red. Why is it red? Because it is telling me that some text have been cut off. They are inside. So if I click on this and drag it down, I'll see the text that were cut off because of the size of the text box. Okay, so now you see that it is back to black. Okay, it is now black to tell you that everything, all the text you have is visible in the text box. If you do this, you move the text box, reduce the height of the text box. Some texts are hidden and it will turn red. Okay, so that's how you know that there are more text inside. You can also change the fonts. You can also work on individual text or individual phrases inside a text box, inside a paragraph text. Okay, You can work on them as though you are working on an artistic text. Let me show you what I mean. So this Caro Corabitor Tempus. Okay, if I hold down Shift and use my arrow key to select from where the cursor starts to this tempus, I can change the font. I can change the font of just that to this. I can change the font size to something bigger or something smaller than what we have in there. Okay, I can do this, right, and then adjust so that we can see the other text too. I can do this, okay. Um, but you really have to do that if you really want, if you want freedom, that kind of freedom to edit this, you have to convert it to an artistic text, and I'll show us that in due time. Let me not go ahead of myself. Okay, so you can change the fonts of everything in the text box too by also switching to pick tool, and then you select the fonts, okay, and then they take that font. The font might increase the size or reduce the size of the text in the text box. It might even give it more space, more header space, the space between each line. Okay, it might see the space it has increased. The space between each line of text has increased because of the type of font we chose. Okay, so we can again, whenever you see that red, whenever you see the your whenever you see the text box color red, always know that you are cutting off some text um, under. All right. So having done that, okay. So we can increase or reduce the distance um between lines of text. Okay, you can increase or reduce the distance between lines of text by um by using shape tool. So when we select shape tool, this is how the paragraph text looks, and then we can, if we drag this one up or down, we'll be if we drag it up, we'll be reducing the space between text. Do you understand? And then it's called, I think it's called line spacing, or the leading between text. Okay, we can also change the space between um not between lines of text now, but between each letter. Between each letter. Okay, I think that's called the kerning. Kerning. Okay, you can change that by dragging this. So you see that text are closer. You see that letters are closer to each other now. All right. Um, we can do that with the shape tool. With the shape tool. Okay, can do that with the shape tool. All right. You can also do that to the artistic text. Okay, but I'll come back to that later. I'll come back to that. So this is what we can do with the artistic text and the paragraph text. Okay, we can align them. Great, very important alignment. We can come here and align to the center. We can come here, align left, align right, or justify. This is full justify. This is forced justify. Okay, I'm sure you see the difference between full justify and forced justify. Okay, so having done that, what else? What else? Okay, yeah. Now, if you want to be very quick, if you want to be very fast, you can do Control R. Sorry, you have to select. You have to be inside editing the text, editing inside the text box. That is um your text to have to be selected. Or to do that, you can just double click on the paragraph text and then you are into the text box and you're editing it. Now, when you are doing that, you can do Control R to align to the right, Control E to align to the center, and Control L to align left. Do you understand? So LER in that order. Left is center, R is right. So Control L, Control E, Control R to align the text when you are editing. When you are editing the paragraph text, not when you are on pick tool. Okay, not when you are using pick tool. All right. So that is it. That is it for um paragraph text. Now, um, let me now. Okay, you can also do the same thing. You can also use shape tool to work on the spacing of an artistic text. You can do this as far as you are given, as far as you are permitted to. Okay, you can do this. You can, if this was a two-line text, if this was a two-line text, you can also do this. Do you understand? And you can do this. Okay, so you can increase the space between letters and you can increase the space between lines of text, even in an artistic text using shape tool. All right. Um, we've seen how we can change sizes. We've seen how we can change fonts. If your font has if your font has italics option, if your font has italics option, you can give it an italics here. Okay. If you also need to use bullets, you can always use bullets in both paragraph and artistic text. Okay. So let me do it in an artistic text. That's a bullet. Okay. You can use bullets, you can use number lists. Okay. You can use drop cap. You can do any of those things if you wish. Okay. Now to exit from any of those number line number list or bullets, just click it again and it goes away. Okay. So that is it. That is it. Static text and paragraph text. Great. So um basic text editing. You know how to change fonts, we know how to resize, we know how to do bold and italics. If the font you're using allows for those options, we know how to align text. We know how to space text, the leading is the space between um lines of text. Okay. And then we know how to do we know how to also reduce or increase the space between letters, which is called the tracking. Okay, which is called the tracking. I know I said kenning the other time, but kenning is another thing. It's has a meaning that is similar to tracking, but it's something it's it's something else, something more advanced. Okay, we'll consider that later. All right. So this is that is it for artistic and paragraph text. You know when to use them. I'm sure you know when to use them. You use paragraph text for body of work, for things that require long paragraphs, as the name implies, and you use artistic text for one-off letters. You understand? If you want to just write a phrase, not something long. If you want to just write a phrase or a word, okay. So that is it. I'll just keep them aside right now so that we can do other things with text. Okay. Then basic fonts, basic font pairing theory. Okay, basic font pairing theory. First of all, let me just show you that the fonts you use can affect the mood of your design. So I'm not going to do a real design. I'm just going to change fonts right now. So let me just move this to the side so you can see the drop down list. So this, if I pick a different font now, okay, I pick a different font. You see how this totally changes the look and feel of our workspace entirely. Okay, you see how this changes the look and feel of our workspace entirely. It just brings something totally unique to our work. Okay, that is I believe I'll talk more on this in a different presentation. Okay, but for now, let us just focus on being able to create fonts. Okay, now when you are working on designs, it's usually good to not use more than two or three fonts. Not use more than two or three fonts. Okay, at most the maximum is at most two or at most three. Okay, you can use one font and do a whole design. Actually, you can use one font and do a whole design. Just change the font weight. This by font weight I mean this. This is what I mean by font weight. See, there are different weights here. There are different weights. This is extra bold is another weight, bold is another weight, semi bold, regular, and light. Okay, so I'm just going to leave this on bold. So just change the font weight. Um, always if you are using more than one font, even if you are using one font, contrast. By contrast, it's the same thing I'm telling you. Change the font weight. Don't keep everything the same size and don't keep everything the same font weight. Okay. Change the font weight, alternate the font weight. Always use hierarchy. Okay. Always use hierarchy. Um um let me keep this aside now. We are done with um font pairing basics. We are done with font pairing basics. I will show us a practical by the end of this particular um session. Okay, I'll show us an example in a real life project. But before that, let me also show us another quick trick we can do with text. So let me bring this guy here, duplicate, Control D, and then drag him in. Okay, I want to do something with him. I'm going to make this a one line text because what I want to do will not work with two line text. I'm going to make this a one line text, artistic text. One line artistic, it has to be artistic text. Now I'm going to show us how to curve a text around a part. Now there has to be a part first before you can call a text around something. Okay. So let me create a part. Let me draw a circle here. Remember what I told us about drawing a circle? Draw a perfect circle, you hold down control and you draw. Alright. Now I want to call this text around this circle. To do that, I come to text. I come to um fit text to parts. So I click on that and I come to this part and I select it. Just like that, the text is called around. If you are worried about the line underneath the text, well, there's a way around it. Okay, so I'm going to click on this. On Now, notice that when I click on that, I'm selecting both the text and the circle. So another click will select just the circle for me, and I can come here and turn off and say no line. I don't want the shape to have any line. So the shape is there, but it does not have a fill and it does not have a line, but it's there. How do I know it is still there? If I click on this to see it says text on parts on layer one. Okay, that's to show you that two things are actually selected. If I come to objects, remember objects docker, it tells me there's an ellipse and there's an artistic text. Okay, and there's an ellipse and there's a text called artistic text wrapped around it. Okay, um, so you can still, if you want to be sure, you can color this text. You can color the circle and you see the circle. Okay. Another way to do this is by just duplicate this. Another way to do this is by after wrapping the text around the object, you can delete this. You can just select the ellipse and delete it, and you have an artistic text wrapped around a part, and the part is and you've deleted the part, but the text is still wrapped around something. All right. So that's how you can wrap a text around a part. Okay. Um, you can also convert artistic text or a paragraph text for that matter. You can convert them to curve. I'm just going to duplicate this. I'll bring this here. Um, so if I want to convert a text to curve, the what I'll just do is Control Q. But let me show you where it is on the in your edit tab. Okay, in your uh tab. Okay, so I think it's an objects. I don't usually use this part anymore. So break text apart. So okay, I still need to teach you how to break text apart. See, convert to curves. And like I told you, you can do it with Control Q. So if I convert this text to curve, see, I no longer have the option of changing the font because it's no longer a font. It is now a curve. Even the objects even the object docker will tell you that it is now a curve. So this is more like one of those shapes we edited yesterday. Okay, they are flat out shapes now, and we usually do this whenever we want to send our designs for printing. Okay, when you send a CorelDRAW file for printing, if somebody opens it on his CorelDRAW app, on his CorelDRAW software, if it does not have the same if it does not have the same font to use in designing your work, the whole design will be scattered because all the fonts will change to the fonts he has in his system. So to avoid that, what you usually do is to convert all the text to curve, okay, so that they are no longer text, they are now shapes. Okay, now that's another trick you can do. Let me show you another trick you can do with text. You can by let me duplicate this again, duplicate this and bring it here. Now this artistic text is one text. I can break it apart by doing Control K. Control K will break it apart into two different texts because there are two lines of text. So this is artistic and this is text. Okay, let me do it again when we have the text as one line of text for two different words. So if I do this, this is one line of text, this is one artistic text, but it is two different words inside the artistic text, and I can break it apart. Control K. Control K breaks it apart into two different words. If you have more than two words, no matter the number of words, it breaks them apart into individual words. Okay. If you do Control K again, if after breaking a text into individual words, you do Control K again, it breaks it apart into individual letters. Do you understand? Right. Now, this is a full, this is one word, this is one word broken into individual letters. You can drag any of them apart. Do you understand? You can drag them apart and create any fill or and create any fill you want. You can make this a bigger, separate from the rest of the text. You can bring this S down and maybe make it smaller or bigger. Make it smaller. and then drag this TIC inside. You can do that. Okay, you can do that, and it is fine. Okay, but if you want to if you want to bring things back, if after breaking I want to bring them back, okay, there is a way around it. So let me break this one now. Control K. They are broken. They are individual text. By breaking text is different from converting text to curve. This is a text that is converted to curve. You will not see the option of changing the font, but these are individual letters. When you break a text, you are making them out into individual letters, okay? And you can still change the font of each letter. So each letter is still an artistic text, okay? No, you've not converted to paragraph text yet. So each letter is still an artistic text. And if you want to bring them back together, just select all of them and do Control L. Now, this might happen, but don't be afraid. Do Control Z and do Control L again. Okay, it's trying to pick the best format to arrange your text, whether to start from back to front or start from front to back. Now, you can also join two words together again by selecting the words. When one word is selected, hold down Shift and select another word, and then do Control L. You see that? If you did Control L if you did Control L and you got this, you can do Control Z to undo and then Control L again. Do you understand? And you get back one um our one line phrase with multiple words, with more than one word. You if even if you had this, if you wanted to come back to this, okay, and it was broken, do you shift select and then L. It would put them back in one line, but you can still press enter and have them back as two lines. Okay, so that's what you can do. Now, one last trick I'll show you before I do the project. One last trick I'll show you before I work on a project is the fact that you can convert from an artistic text to a paragraph text and vice versa. So I'm going to convert this paragraph text to an artistic text now. Okay, even though it's going to be very long, but we shall see it. So to do that, I'll have to right click, and I'll come here, see convert artistic text. When I click on it, you see that it's now an artistic text. It no longer has borders, and you can now work on it as much as you want. Okay. Um, you can convert this artistic text to paragraph text by also right clicking and clicking convert to paragraph text. You see that it now has borders, and then you can make this you can make this to, if you bring back the text to one line and you separate it with space bar, you can make this text to be responsive to wrap inside. Okay, you can make it to wrap inside. Great. So that is it. That is it. So let me do a mini project now. I'll just work on I've done this flyer already, but I'll show us how I use text in creating this very simple flyer. All right. So this is it. I'm just going to create another page. Same document. Create another page. I want my design to be landscape. Okay. I'm going to First thing I do whenever I'm creating a flyer on CorelDRAW is to a box, draw a box in the shape of my flyer, and I like to make sure it is A4 just so that it's just it's just something I usually do. So let me just make it A4. I unlock this. A4 is 297 297 to 10. Why I usually make my designs A4 is because I know most of my flyers get printed. So and the standard size for printing is usually A4, A5. So if I design on A4, it can be printed as A5, can be printed as even if you want to print as A3, you can also expand comfortably and print it as A3. So that's why I like designing first on A4. Okay, so I'll lock this after getting my size, color the color the box white. Okay, I like to start with coloring it white, then remove the outline. When I remove the outline, I do something. I click on the background and then auto fit to page so that my design and my background are now one size. Okay, so having done that, this is the brief that we'll be working with. This is the brief that we're working with. This brief is from a real client, actually, from a real client. And we are going to place all this text into our design right here. And we are going to create a flyer design with just text and color. All right. Have you set? So let's do this. Okay. Um, Firstly, I'm going to use shape. I'm going to use a shape here. I'm going to use a shape here to separate the top from the bottom. Okay. Okay. Now I'm going to color this white. I'm going to color this white. Now I'm going to color my main design shape. I'm going to color it purple. I like using purple these days, purple and orange. Okay, let me use plum. Plum is a shade of purple. Okay, so then I'm going to power clip. Guys, take careful note of this. This is how we power clip. Power clip inside this. So you select the rectangle that you want to put inside another shape. Sorry, I did not mention it when I was talking about shape. So I'm going to put this rectangle inside this white rectangle inside the purple rectangle. And to do that, I'll right click and power clip inside rectangle. Do you understand? Okay. So having done that, um the major caption here is this. The major theme is Lord, here I am, have mercy on me. Okay, so I'm going to copy this and I'm going to choose my text tool and I'm doing this on an artistic text now. Okay. I'll do all the design with artistic text because I don't have any long flowing paragraph. Do you understand? So I'm going to paste this right here. Then I will make this into two lines. Okay, from have mercy on me. Because I know all my clients, some clients make mistakes, so I'll just uh, make this I am. Lord, here I am. Have mercy on me. Great. So color this text white, and I'm going to come here and choose my fonts. I have a particular font in mind. Tactic. Great. Tactic Sans. I'll choose this bold option. No, not that. Bold. Okay. Now I'm going to break it. Control K to break. Then I'm going to make this one bigger just so that it matches the width of the one under. Okay. Um, and I'm going to select all of them. I'm going to select both lines of text and I'm going to make them bigger. All right. I'm going to make them bigger. I'm going to make them bigger and I'm going to group them. Okay, why do I want to group them? Because I want to work with them as a whole unit. So I'm going to do Ctrl G to group. Ctrl G to group. Notice that in our objects tab it now says group of two objects because I have two different lines of text that I have grouped. Note I did not merge them together. I did not do Control L to merge them together. That's a different thing. Okay, I just grouped them Control G. All right, so I'm going to do this. Then I'm going to create another box. I love using boxes to design. I'm going to create another box here for my date, time, and venue. Okay, create another box here. I'm going to color this orange, and I'm going to change. Okay, I think I like the outline on it. Let me pick sand. Where is sand? Yeah, this sand color. Right click and color the outline sand. Great. Now I'm going to change the radius of the corners. Just know watch the corners. Change the radius of the corners to 3 so that they will be a little bit rounded. Great, great. So now I have this. Now the major reason why I grouped these two texts is so that I can always align very well. So now I've selected the text and I've selected the background. I'm going to align the text to the background. Align. Make sure it is center aligned. Great. So what's next? I'm going to copy this. I'm going to copy this date 20th October. Okay. Select text, artistic text. Okay. Now because I know my clients again, I know that this is a 7-day program. So this is going to be 20th to 27th 27th October 2025. Again, okay, let me not do that. Let me select my fonts. Now I'm going to use these fonts. I'm going to use these fonts to write. This is the font I'll use for all the details. Okay, all the details. Select that, come here, drag it to that point, and then just reduce the size a little, give it white. White. Now, what else? What else? The time, right? Time, 5:30 to 7 p.m. daily. Copy that, and then paste it here. Again, still change it to let's use a lighter version of this one. Remember hierarchy, or do not use the same font weight. Okay, do not use the same font weight. Let me use semi bold. Okay, so if this is bold, yeah, that is bold. That is bold. Should be extra bold. Okay, so this is semi bold. I'm going to put it here, and I'm going to color it white. Okay, just so that it is visible from the orange background. I'm going to bring this down. Okay, separate it, draw a line to separate this 2-point line. That's all I need. Then color the line white. Right click, outline color white. Great. Then what next? What next? What next? Ministering. Ministering. Okay, copy this. Ministering. Copy text. I'm going to paste this on here. Paste it here. Ministry will be on one line. Then Pastor Ogochukwu Sunday, then other anointed men of God will be on another line. Okay, so I'm going to bring this one here. I'm going to keep it here. Reduce the size and keep it here. Now I'm going to make this again into my I remember I told you that this is the font I'll be using for the details. So I have that. Now I'm going to break this text now. Break it. Have this one as bold. Have this one as bold. Have this one as the same font weight, but I'll reduce the size and I'll make it italics. Okay, make it italics. Okay, so I'm going to color it white, color everything white, and I'm going to um, bring it here, bring it here. Okay, um, move this one aside a little, duplicate this and place it here. I'm making space for another uh, text. Let's go grab the venue, Seventh Day Adventist Church Auditorium. I'm going to copy this, paste. We know copy and paste now. Control V, Control C, Control V, Control C to copy, Control V to paste. Right. And I'm going to okay, I'll allow this to run with the venue line. Then I'll bring this one down. Bring this one down here. Okay, so we can have that. Okay, let me allow it to run like this. Let me keep it like this. Since we are working with three lines each, here is three lines, here is three lines. So let me make this one three lines. Okay, so bring this guy here, and I'm going to reduce the size a little. Great. Then I'll change the font again to the font I'm using for the details. Now I'm going to reduce the leading. Remember the leading, the space between lines of text. Okay, and I'm going to color it white. White. Great. So we are done with those ones. Now let us do something here. Expectations. Expectations. We are going to copy this. We are going to copy this, and we are going to paste it with. Let us use paragraph text here. Paragraph text. So draw a bar here. Then you paste. Okay. And when you paste, we are going to change the font type to semi bold, change the font weight to 16, 18, 24. No, let's keep it at 18. Let's make it 20. 20. Enter. Great. So this is what we have. Now I'm just going to do something now. While I'm inside editing the text, by double clicking, I will do Ctrl E to center align everything. Okay, Ctrl E, Ctrl space bar to exit editing. Or better still, double click again. Let me remove this stuff. Then while I'm inside editing, I want that expectations to be a different font weight. So I'm going to select shift with the cursor starting from there, shift, and then use my arrow key to get to the beginning. Or you can just tap home and it takes you to the beginning. Okay, so I'm going to change this one now to bold, extra bold. Extra bold is fair. Extra bold is fair. You can take time um to work on to work on um each word. You understand? You can take time to work on each word, but this is I think I'm fine with this. I'm just going to align it now. Remember, I wrapped the text by dragging the sides. Okay, I wrap the text. I think this looks better. So hold shift, hold down the background, and then align. Great. So it's perfectly aligned to the center. And I'm going to convert this now to artistic text. Right click, convert to artistic text. Great. So we have that. And then what is left, what is remaining now, it's just the little embellishments. And okay, let's copy this. We've not added this. Okay, 1 week prayer campaign. Let's copy this, copy text, then select your text tool, and then click there and paste it. We are pasting it as artistic text. Okay, so then we edit it a little, make this the editing I was talking about with the expectations. So convert, make this capital C, make this capital P, make this capital W. All right, then change it to the text we are using for details. All right, then color this white so it stands out, so it will show. Bring it down a little. Great. Now, just some little embellishments of my own. The client don't send me work, but I'll just type it. Join us for, okay. Control E to center line. Then take it up and then use hold down shift, select the background and center align. Join us for, okay. I'm going to color this text now. This is our main theme. I'm going to color it sand color, so it will be different from the others. Okay, so it will stand out and be different from the others. Make this to be like this. Okay, then I think I want to increase this size a little more so that it covers more space. I'll bring it down. Okay, our flyer is looking good. Um, pardon me, let me just pick a logo from here. Pick this. I'm going to do Control C. This is from another CorelDRAW file, another CorelDRAW design I opened. Okay, this is a different design. So I've copied that and I'm going to come back to our CorelDRAW file, which is here, and I'm going to paste it. So that's the church logo, and I to reduce the size proportionally, I hold down Shift and then I come to the corner, bottom corner, and I push and pull just a little. Okay, then color it white. Okay, great. So that is it. That is it. Then let me just quickly change this to Degema. I believe it's for this design. It's coming from Degema. All right, great. Great. So this is just a simple project. Okay, on my this is the actual work. Let me just show you the actual work I did. Page up. This is the actual design I did. Okay, so but this is a simple project because I just wanted to show you how to use text. Okay, maybe in future classes I'll show us how to add all the images I added here the and every other thing that we've not talked about. Okay, so that is it. That is it. That's how to use text. That's how to work with text on Corel Draw. Thank you very much and God bless.